Senator, we have not had a chance to talk to you since January 6th. What was your experience at the Capitol or on the Capitol campus that day?
Well, I think all of us had an experience, but I think what is important to focus on is why we had that experience and what we need to do. We had that experience because people went outside of how we fight for policies or vote or put people in office in this country, which is by using our words. I go to work every day and I fight for things I care about, for education or healthcare or women's right to choose. I mean, all of those issues. People argue back at me using their words, and we vote, and the winner moves that policy forward or that candidate forward in the terms of elections. When we allow this democracy to be changed by use of force rather than by use of words, we have lost our democracy. It is incredibly important that we not let the use of force win in this country. That's not what a democracy is about. And it's incredibly important that we hold everyone accountable to what happened that day, that we make sure that our voices in this country assure that everyone who participated in that, from the president on down, is not allowed or is held accountable for that for the future. And we need to go back to remembering why our words are important, why our votes are important. A democracy works because we use our words. That's important for our citizens to understand. It is also important for what we portray in the world. We do not want other countries to think that we would ever condone violence or a coup attempt to be what should govern another country. And we should never allow it to happen here.
It's my understanding that the FBI or Homeland Security has briefed senators on the events of that day and also any sort of current threat. What can you say about what you've been briefed upon or the current threat to you or your staff?
Well, I think it's incredibly important for all of us to understand that this threat didn't go away on January 6th, that there are those in this country incited by the President of the United States to continue to try and use violence instead of words to be able to govern our country. So we all need to be vigilant. We need to be doing everything we can, and we need to have a peaceful turnover of this government to a new presidency next week that I will be participating in.
Are you confident that will occur on January 20th?
I am confident that will occur.
And you do plan on being in attendance?
I plan on being in attendance, yes.
Have, Representative Jayapal in Seattle, the Washington representative, have you, as a result of what happened on January 6th, have you been tested for COVID-19?
I have not. I have been in isolation since then. We were obviously in a room with a lot of people, some without masks on where I was. So I'm taking the right precautions that we all should take. But I, like everybody else who is attending the inauguration, will be tested before I attend that.
The House looks like it will vote on articles or an article of impeachment tomorrow. You have called for the removal not only of the president, but of your colleagues on the Republican aisle, Senators Cruz and Hawley. How likely do you think any of that is, given the numbers in the Senate?
Well, I think it's incredibly important that we watch. The House will move forward on that tomorrow. That is the first action that takes, and then the Senate becomes the jury for an impeachment, as we have all learned in the past year. And we will do that. I am encouraging and pushing and really hoping that Leader McConnell will join with Leader Schumer and call us back, and I will go back to have an impeachment as soon as possible.
Do you believe that the votes exist in the Senate, or what about the scenario that the Senate doesn't even have a trial on impeachment for at least 100 days into a Biden presidency?
I don't think that's relevant at this point. What everybody needs to know is if the House moves to impeach, the Senate has to take up the impeachment. So it will occur.
even if that's 100 days down the road or further in?
Well, I am hopeful that that is not the case. I think we need to make it very clear in this country, from all parts of our politics and all walks of life, that a coup is not how we govern in this country. That we use again our words, our votes, and that is what counts.
One of the things that has been lost in the last week was a pretty significant development or developments out of Georgia with the Senate now going 50-50. It means that you, as the third ranking Democrat in the Senate, will have significant power. My question to you is what do you think this means for the people of Washington State, that the Senate is changing in terms of the balance of power?
Well, let's be careful how we use the word power. I will be in a position in the Senate to help use my voice to promote issues that I care about and my state cares about. I'll be able to do that as a United States Senator, and we're all equal in the United States Senate. I will be very fortunate to be chairing the Health, Education, Labor, Pensions Committee, which we oversee all of the COVID response that needs to occur, vaccines, vaccine distribution, healthcare equity, all of the shortcomings we've seen on education, doing everything we can to get our kids back in school and to deal with the issues as a fallout of this pandemic in terms of equity. There are kids who didn't learn anything, kids who had good learning, all kinds of experiences, and we need to be prepared for that and have our education system prepared for that. I mean, there's a whole litany of issues, but obviously first and foremost is going to be a response to COVID. We've got to get our arms around this pandemic so that we can get our country back to normal, so that we can get out of this feeling of chaos. People can go back to work, send their kids to school, and know that we have this pandemic under control. That's our number one goal.
So what do you think immediately changes for the people of Washington State with Democrats in control in the Senate?
Sure, that's an important question. So when Democrats are in control, we set the agenda on the Senate floor. We decide what bills come forward, what amendments are brought forward, and what order that action is taken. So setting that agenda and the priorities of our state and our country will be part of what I'll be able to participate in. I'm very excited about that.
Okay, my last question is a bit of a wild card, but there has been a lot of discussion, as you know, about race over the last 6 to 9 months, ever since the death of George Floyd. Washington State is included in that. You're well aware of what has transpired in Washington State. My question, though, is something that you have tracked now for years, I'm aware of, and that is the Duwamish people. They are continuing to push for federal recognition as a tribe. I'm just curious where you stand, what you think about that idea as this issue has bubbled higher to the surface in the last 6 to 9 months.
It's one of many, many, many issues facing us right now. And obviously, as always, we have to listen to all of the people involved and work through the process. And I will continue to do that as I always have.